Okay, let's talk about SCS. What is SCS? It stands for Storm Competitive Series, but what are they about? Let's see what they have to say about it. At SCS, it is our priority to deliver the premium experience to competitive players. Welcome to the new era of amateur Rainbow Six Siege. What we're talking about specifically is SCS Season 6, so they have had 5 seasons of SCS, but they are now really ramping things up. They've partnered with Nerd Street Gaming, who have worked in Rainbow Six before, and they are trying to bring, as they put it, a premium experience to competitive players. So let's just go through the overall gist of the thing that they have laid out on the website, talk about this a little bit, and then we'll get into specifics. All right, why SCS? So as they put it, top tier competition for Rainbow Six Siege. So most of the play here, I imagine, is roughly equivalent to Challenger League, especially considering half the teams in the main SCS season are just straight out of Challenger League. So, that makes sense. So, in the strictest sense, not technically top tier competition, but all of this is going to qualify for a Pro-Am tournament, which will include pro teams. So at that point, yeah, I suppose it is fair to say there will be top tier competition. And if nothing else, even if it's not technically strictly true, they are definitely trying to foster it with this whole thing. So $5,000 prize pool for SCS R6 Split 1. There are 2 splits going on, but we'll get to that again. $5,000 prize pool. That's not bad for sub tier 1 Rainbow Six Siege. The best T2 desk talent and commentators in North America, and yeah, it's just literally the Challenger League commentators and analysts. So can't really argue with that. Entry fee refunded upon qualification. So if you enter and then you qualify, that money will come back to you in some way or other. And then, of course, there's possibility to get more money. And so, yes, that means there is an entry fee. And again, another thing we'll cover in a little bit, unmatched consistent production quality. This remains to be seen because we haven't seen it just yet, but I imagine, yeah, it'll be pretty good. Every game of the season broadcasted and uploaded on our website. Always good to see. Always good to have them in a consistent place. Of course, it'd maybe be nice to have them on YouTube, but it's a good way to keep things in-house and somewhat proprietary and expand the brand by having people go to the website. Maybe it'll be on YouTube as well. In-depth statistics for each playday and overall performance. Love to see it, or at least I love to see it. As you may or may not know, I'm a big statistics guy. If you don't care about it, whatever, but if you like it, it is there for you to check out. Transparent administrative communication and players first approach. So that's something that's very good to see. A lot of the production behind a lot of Rainbow Six is not always this way, not always players first or terribly transparent. So if this rings true, that's going to be quite excellent. SCS is built by ex-competitive players for current and future competitive players. Okay, very good. So Season 6, again, what we're talking about here, this is the general idea of the competitive structure. So we have 16 teams arranged into 4 groups with 4 teams in each, okay? So group stage lasts for 3 weeks in a double elimination format. Each team is going to play 1 best of 3 match per week against an opponent in their group bracket. Top 2 teams out of each group make it into the playoff stage. So it's not a round robin thing. It's like a little mini bracket you play within your group, and the top 2 teams emerge, and the the bottom 2 teams rather get eliminated. So that leaves 8 teams, 2 teams from each group, and then they will play in a playoffs. So playoff bracket consists of 8 teams playing a single elimination bracket for 1 week. All playoff matches are a best of 3 match. So that's good. Of course, you expect playoffs to not be best of 1s, but we also see best of 3s in the groups, which is cool. And actually the best of 5 grand finals, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But let me just say, it is single elimination, so that keeps it nice and crisp and concise. It'll just be played over 1 week. 1 week would be just far too much to fit a double elimination bracket, I suppose. And then also having single elimination just removes the controversy around the whole map advantage situation in the grand final. So that's good. The best of 5 grand finals will determine the team that wins SCS Season 6 Split 1 and qualifies for the Pro-Am event coming in 2022. Okay, so there's some stuff that's a little bit unclear because this is just surface level stuff. So now I want to talk more about what is the Pro-Am, what is the entry fee, and other details you might want to know. So stay tuned and let's hop into that. All right, let's start with registration and qualification. And first, let's show who is already qualified. So there, again, will be 16 teams, and there are already 8 teams qualified, all of them coming from North American Challenger League. So let's check it out. And really quickly, since I'm here, this is the prize money breakdown. So, $50 is what it costs to enter the qualifiers and whatnot. So I guess you'll get back at least your $50. And then same thing, 9 through 12, So this is all of the teams that will be eliminated in groups. And then once you make it to the playoffs, at least $200, $400, $1,000, and $2,000 for first place. And then points, we'll talk about that in a little bit. That is for the Pro-Am. All right, let's take a look at who is already in. So we have Investigation File with Vivid, Giddy, Inrio, Arrow, and Subarctic. We have Aerial Arise with Beastly, Wimpy, Kento, Diaz Lucas, and Gomez. We have One Shot with Quartz, Kilo, Slippery, Storms, and Swaylin. These first 3 teams didn't make any roster moves, and I suppose probably they are still able to, but it seems at this point that's probably the roster they're going to go with. All right, so Nocturne, Sykes, Lackey, and Exod. This was FICO and Marmalade before in the last 2 spots, but we don't know who the other 2 players will be just yet. Livid, we have Carnage B, Whitlock, Zeno, Mikey, and they had Indy before, but another to be determined. Aqualix, it's Exile, Hat, Gasher, CZ, and Afer. This was Rethinkin and England, but it is now Exile and Hat. Wichita Wolves, Callout, Forest, Freak, Mohesi, and then it was Abonai. We'll see who it ends up being for the last slot. And Two-Face, Eddie, Kicks, Silent, Butters, and Poison. It was Surf before, and it is Poison now. So these are all of the top 10 placing Challenger League teams, except for the first place placing team, which was Parabellum. And if they win the relegation match, they'll be in Pro League, so I suppose they'll be auto-invited to the Pro-Am anyways. And I mean, maybe they'll play through qualifiers and want to play in this. I'm unsure of the deal with that. And then the other top 10 Challenger League team not in here from Stage 3 is Panic Gaming, which is the squad with Gotcha, Oasis, and Barring. At one point it was, Young Alec and Prod, who are now in Pro League, and then they had different players last stage, and now I believe the roster they have is with Surf, who was on Two-Face before, and Slashug, who used to play for like Rogue and Reciprocity and stuff. Okay, so that's all of the teams that are in now, and if you're curious at all about it, these are the groups. It's already been determined, I guess, which Challenger League teams are in which group. So, I mean, if you're curious about that, and then it'll be, I don't know how the seeding works exactly for the rest of the group, if there's any sort of seeding in the qualifiers or if it's totally random. But yeah, the rest of the 8 slots within the 4 groups will be filled up. All right, so let's take a look at registration a little bit more back on the SCS website. Okay, if you want to look at any of this stuff yourself, you can feel free to. This is just scsesports.com, and then you go to Season 6, and then you can go to any of these tabs over here. This is the SCS 6 Register tab. Okay, let's move down here, and pretty much everything we need to know about the qualifiers is here in these 2 little infographics, which is nice. So, right, $50 per qualifier, but if you book them together, you can get it for $80 for both. And also, if you purchase a qualifier pass and made it on the first try, SCS will refund the $30 remainder. So if you're really a big baller like that and you just make it on the first try, you'll get that $30 back. But do keep in mind also, one cannot purchase the second qualifier for $30 after open qualifier number 1 has finished. So you buy them both together, or at least before open qualifier 1, and then you can get that little $20 discount overall. So open qualifier number 1 is on November 26th through the 28th. This is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the second open qualifier is December 3rd to the 5th, and this is the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And do keep in mind, today is the 20th of November, so 6 days until this qualifier hits. So if you want to get in on the first one, you need to sign up pretty soon. And okay, what is the structure for the qualifier? So there are 2 steps, of course, 2 days for the first step and 1 day for the second step. Swiss, 8 best of 1s played over the course of 2 days. So each team will play 4 best of 1s per day. So 4 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, and then the top 16 teams will advance to day 2. This event, the qualifier, is capped at 128 teams. So I don't know what they're currently at, but if they're anywhere near that, you're going to want to sign up quickly. And okay, so 16 teams advance to the second step on Sunday, single elimination, best of 3. And you need to make it through 2 rounds. So there will be 16 teams, and then it will be narrowed down to 8 teams by the first round, and then the second round will narrow it down to 4 teams. And then those 4 teams will be qualified for the first split of SCS. And now let's go through the entire roadmap and tie everything together. So most of this is stuff we covered, but there's a few things that I did not go over yet, so let's take a look. SCS 6 Stage 1, this is all stuff that I covered, the qualifiers and invited teams, everything like that. Something that was not talked about before, all teams will acquire Pro-Am points upon qualification, and just a little bit further down the page, that'll be clarified. Winner, well, not fully clarified, but partially. Winner of SCS SCS 6 Stage 2 qualifies for Pro-Am main event. I think this is meant to say Stage 1 because we're talking about Stage 1 here, and also down here it says the exact same thing, so I imagine this is meant to say Stage 1. And okay, so we talked about the qualifiers. The dates are here once again, but these dates are actually incorrect. This is what they were originally slated to be, but then they had to be delayed for one reason or other. So again, the days are the days that I mentioned before, not these. And okay, talked about all this. SCS 6 After Dark Tournament. Free entry tournament happening right after SCS 6 Season 1. So this is from January 3rd to the 5th of 2022. The format is to be announced. The winner of this tournament qualifies for the Pro-Am main event. So it's free to enter, and you just have to win the tournament. You don't have to play in all of the group stages and all the stuff. You just have to win a tournament. And I'm sure it's going to be, you know, a pretty competitive tournament considering it costs nothing to enter, and it has what I imagine is a pretty coveted prize of qualifying for the Pro-Am. So it's not going to be a freebie by any means, but it's probably the, in a way, the easiest way, the quickest way perhaps to qualify for the Pro-Am, besides being directly invited, I suppose. Then SCS 6 Stage 2, it's pretty much the same thing as the first split, but it's just going to do it again. Qualifiers on January 7th through the 9th and January 14th through the 16th. So, I mean, if you need to re-qualify or need to qualify for the first time that time, those are when the qualifiers will be. And just the same format and all this stuff. 4 teams from each of the qualifiers will make it, and then they'll do the whole system once again. All right, leaderboards. Top 2 teams with the highest number of points qualify for the Pro-Am main event. So it's unclear how the points are distributed exactly, but I imagine all of the teams placing high enough in each of the stages will get points, and then the highest teams that I'm guessing that are not already qualified, because I don't know why they'd have overlapping qualifications like that, but the 2 highest teams in points that didn't already qualify will qualify for the Pro-Am main event via points. And then the Pro-Am last chance qualifier, so a tournament to determine the team to qualify for the Pro-Am main event. So it's just another tournament like this one, I suppose, like the After Dark tournament that just qualifies one more team for the Pro-Am. And then what is the Pro-Am? Well, we don't actually know too much, but it is a large-scale tournament with NAL teams receiving an auto invite. More information soon. So it'll include presumably at least 9 NAL teams. Maybe the NAL at this point will have 10 teams. Maybe Ubisoft will just, you know, let Parabellum and Xset be in NAL, and then there will be 10 teams, or maybe they have another team they're going to invite. Who knows? So 9 to 10 teams from NAL, and then also 1 team from this Pro-Am Last Chance qualifier, 1 from the SCS After Dark tournament, 2 from the leaderboards, and so that makes 4, and then 1 from Stage 2 and 1 from Stage 1. So that's 6 teams from SCS, and then 9 or 10 teams from NAL. So if it is 10 teams from NAL, maybe it's just going to be a 16-team tournament. In the past, Nerd Street Gaming partnered with Dark Zero to put on a Pro-Am last year, and I think that was a 20-team tournament with 5 groups of 4 teams, and then they had a whole playoffs thing. So maybe it's going to be a similar format to that, but maybe it'll just be 4 groups, making 4 groups of 4, making it 16 teams. Maybe it will be 20 teams again, and there are additional slots to be filled through means not described on this page, or maybe not. So again, all that's pretty speculative because they haven't announced exactly, but I imagine that if I had to guess, it would just be 10 NAL teams or 10 auto-invited teams or whatever, and then these 6 qualifications here. And okay, I think that's pretty much it, but let me move over to the schedule overall, and I'm not going to go through all these, but if you care to pause and look at any of this, I mean, it's there for you to see. A lot of these teams are already scheduled, of course the Challenger League teams, and then against whichever slot has not yet been filled, but will be filled by the teams that qualify. So we have dates and time, but it's all laid out for you to see. So I think this is pretty much it. SCS, yes, and then Split 2, which we're still a little ways away from, but, you know, coming up after not too long. It's only, of course, in, 2 months is when it starts. And then the Pro-Am Last Chance qualifier, and we do, I guess, have the dates for the Pro-Am. So it's just a little bit after SI. Of course, SI's last day is on February 20th, I believe, and then this Pro-Am will be on the 24th through the 27th. So, okay, I think that's pretty much everything you need to know about SCS coming up that I already know, that everybody already knows, that's been publicly announced. If there's anything that I missed that you're aware of, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll try to, add it in some way, maybe to the description. If there's anything that I got wrong, feel free to correct me, of course. And I think that's it. I'm looking forward to SCS. I'll probably be watching a good amount of this because, I mean, gotta watch Seed somehow, right? And yeah, it seems really promising. It seems like they have ramped up their production, and hopefully the quality of the games and the production itself reflects that. So, okay, with all of that being said, I will catch you in the next video.